Thank you, sir. Well, we've got Mr. Genuis, then Mr. Brock, and then Mrs. Vignola.
Thank you, Chair. I'm sorry to see that this may not be as simple as I thought it would be, but let me state, I think, what all members know, which is that there are different officers of Parliament, different organizations with very different mandates. So obviously we have the RCMP looking into criminal activity, allegations of criminal activity that I suspect we will hear from at some point. There's the Auditor General's report, but the Auditor General is acting as an auditor with specific scope to look at a set of things related to money, value for money, processes, etc. We have the Procurement Ombudsman report, which has a distinct mandate related to procurement, but the role of the Public Sector Integrity Commissioner as an officer of Parliament to investigate wrongdoing, to investigate the clearly the allegations of problems in integrity as it relates to people in government. We have allegations of reprisals against public servants following their committee testimony, of the destruction of documents, of extortion happening. There are many serious allegations flying back and forth, senior public servants accusing each other of lying to parliamentary committees. These are very distinct issues related to integrity within government, and I think the Public Sector Integrity Commissioner has the right mandate to investigate those specific issues, and crucially has the advantage of independence. So we oppose efforts by some to bury this matter or to limit the scope of the investigations. There is a clear agenda, I think, on the part of the government to want to have this limited to an internal investigation, which ultimately they can control. But when we have an officer of Parliament responsible for making investigations into public sector integrity issues, I think that is a clear and appropriate way of getting to the bottom of this. And look, if we wait until other reports have complete before this process starting itself at all, then we're just continually pushing off actually getting to the truth on this. I think it is right and responsible for this committee to ask for the support of the Public Sector Integrity Commissioner as an independent actor, as someone with credibility, and someone who will look at distinctly different issues from the other reports. So again, I hope that this motion will have the support of colleagues. It's a simple, straightforward motion. There's no extraneous commentary in the motion at all. I think it's something that all members should be able to support to allow proper investigations to take place.
Mr. Brock, then Mrs. Vignola.
Thank you, Chair.
Back to Mr. Chouari.
Thank you, Chair. Further to my colleague's comments, which I agree absolutely in his content. I'm rather disappointed in Mr. Chouari for conflating a number of investigations and trying to establish some independence with respect to those investigations. We've heard about the internal investigation launched by the CBSA. We've heard evidence directly from the investigator that he in no way is truly independent. We've heard commentary from Mr. Utano and Mr. McDonald that they have rephrased the PSF to preliminary statement of falsehood and not fact. All committee members should remember my opening line of questions to Mr. Lafleur, where I challenged him on the basis that he is establishing conclusions on a preliminary basis, and perhaps he should have rebranded the report as allegations and not fact. There's a big difference between a proven fact and an allegation. He's clearly established that he reports to his supervisor, who ultimately reports to the deputy minister. So there's absolutely no independence. And what's more troubling, and these are the words of the former clerk of the Privy Council, Michael Warnock, with his decades of public service experience, he has never in his lifetime have ever heard of the mistreatment of these two public servants who, on a medical leave for some real legitimate issues related to threats, stress. We heard from Mr. McDonald back in November how he was threatened by complete strangers because he was essentially ostracized by Justin Trudeau's government and its officials, which is appalling on many levels. So we need to have someone who is truly independent to report to the House, taking a look at all the circumstances as to why the government and senior officials at CBSA has centered out these two individuals while on medical leave to suspend them without pay. According to Michael Warnock, there's no precedent for that type of administrative maneuver. And with the evidence that we have heard at this committee, it's abundantly clear that they are being scapegoated, that there are a number of people, senior members of the CBSA, and now potential ties to ministers. We've heard earlier this week that all the DMs were reporting to their minister throughout the implementation of the ArriveCan, and also to the clerk of the Privy Council, who is the ministry of the Prime Minister. So indeed, there is political interference and manipulation in this process that needs to be fully vetted. And if my colleague, Mr. Juari, truly lived up to the mantra that Justin Trudeau pronounced during the 2015 election, that this would be an open government, it would be a transparent government, it would be an accountable government. If he truly believed in those values, he would seek a completely independent investigation. So I will definitely be supporting this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brock. Ms.